my friends, and welcome to the Godfather Chronicles podcast. My name is Miguel Garcia, and I am your host. This is episode 19 in part 3 of the Godfather Success Fundamentals. And this is control your environment. If you find value in the podcast, share it with your family and friends, and make sure you rate it. If you don't get value, don't rate it. But if you do get value, it is only fair that you should give me a rating, right? Okay. So you can follow me on Instagram on MAG Patriot, Facebook, Miguel Godfather, or email me your questions at miguel@godfatherchronicles.com. This podcast is sponsored by naturalchoicecompany.com. Unlock your health. Please visit the website and see if you like the products. And if you do, buy them. All right. So this is exciting episode for me because it is very personal. I made some really bold moves so that I could control my environment. In the environment of my family, in the environment where my children would grow up, and I totally changed my circle, my closest circle, and that included my family. So this is kind of a really important topic for me, and I'm going to hopefully instill in you the urgency that you need to understand about your environment, because they say that you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with. Okay, so when it comes to relationships, we are greatly influenced, whether we like it or not, by the closest people to us. So it affects the way we think, it affects our self-esteem, it affects our decisions. And so, the people that are closest to us have a huge influence on what we do, what we say, how we think, how we act. And you have to, in order for you to be successful, you have to make sure that you are hanging around with the right people. You got to make sure that the people that surround you, support your dreams, that they're not holding you back, that they're not affecting adversely your life. So I'm going to give you an example. So back in the 90s, mid-90s, I was hanging around with a bunch of guys, and they were drinkers, and we would hang out at the bar like almost every single day, like Monday through Friday. And what happened was they were dragging me down. And, I was probably dragging somebody else down too. But in the group, the people you hang around with, there's always a leader, right? And so that's the top dog in there. And whatever he says goes. There's a guy, hey, let's go to this party, let's do this, let's go shoot pool, let's do this, and everybody follows. You need to start looking at that person within your circle and realize that they have a huge influence in your life, whether it's positive or negative. If it's negative, you have to leave that circle. And when I say you have to leave the circle, is like you have to do it with a sense of urgency, because it is poisoning your life. It is hindering your advancement in life. It is a toxic environment. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about where you are right now and the people that surround you. And go, okay, my circle of friends is so and so, so and so, so and so. All right, what do they do? And then, he's a factory worker, he's a this, he's a that, or whatever. And then go, okay, what do I want to do? What are my goals? Can they support that? Typically, when you are surrounded with, and I don't want to, I love blue collar people, okay? My father was blue collar, I was blue collar. That doesn't mean anything. In terms of, I'm not hating on him or anything like that, because I was that. But what I'm saying is, when I was surrounded by blue collar people, their goal was to retire and have Social Security take care of them. So if you're living a life with spending $5,000 a month because you have a mortgage, you have a car, you got this and what, you're spending $5,000 a month, and you're going to retire, and the Social Security check is going to be $1,800. Well, guess what? The math is messed up. You're not going to be able to make it. And so that was their goal, was to, reach age 62, retire with what they call a Social Security check. And when I started doing the math, it didn't add up for me. You guys know I have a lot of children, and to me, retiring with $1,800 or $2,000 or $3,000 a month, it's not going to help. And so you need to look at that. Again, blue collar mentality, that's their mentality. That was my mentality. That was my parents' mentality. But when you do the math, you're like, no, wait, it's not going to work. And so you need to leave that circle. Who you invest most of your time is the most important decision of your life. If you are someone that aspires to be great and you're hanging around with average people, you're not going to be great. They are going to pull you down. They're going to question your motives. They're going to question, why is it that you want to leave us? Why are you better than us? They're going to start hating on you. But that's a good sign, because now you know that you have to leave the circle. It's not your circle. It's, the people that we surround ourselves with are the biggest influencers in our lives, on our behavior, attitude, and our results. They influence the way we think, the way we act, our attitude, everything. And so it is imperative that we surround ourselves with folks that have an open mind and they want to grow, they want to do great things. And this is not for everyone. Some people are happy with being average. There's nothing wrong with that. But in my case is, I can't settle for average. I have a large family, a lot of responsibility. And for me, I outgrew everybody in my circle. And I realized that I was making them uncomfortable because I was pushing so hard. And so for you, you need to really assess who's in your circle and what do they believe in. What is the current status of their, of their life, and ask the questions. Hey, what do you want to be in 5 years or 3 years? Or, what are your retirement plans? If they mention, well, I'm just going to get my Social Security check, then you better run away. When you have big dreams and you have big goals and big ambitions, you're going to make people uncomfortable. And they're going to criticize you. They're going to say, why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. Look at your parents. Look at this. Look at that. You're wasting your time. You're a dreamer. You're unreasonable. They're going to question all your motives, all your aspirations. And if you really want to be great, if you really want to break for me, let me get back a little bit. So my goal in life was to break the poverty circle in my family. I grew up with a lot of wants, with a lot of needs and a lot of wants. I wanted to do this, I wanted this or that or whatever. We could never afford it. And the people that surrounded me at that time when I was back in Chicago, they were like, well, that's our luck. That's how we need to live. It is what it is, man. You can't push the envelope. I mean, you were born, lower middle class, and that's the way it is. I refuse to believe that. And I think that with all the children that God sent me, forced me to level up and forced me to realize that there was more than what what I was being offered, I guess. It is sort of I don't know, it's kind of sad because a lot of times in our circle, people in our circle are our family. And especially in the Mexican or whatever, Latino community or whatever, your family expects loyalty. Your family expects you to do what they expect you to do. And for me, I couldn't do that. I had so many children and I had to break out and look for other things and, get a part-time job or just struggle to get ahead. And for them, it was like, okay, well, you work your shift, you come home, you relax, drink a beer or whatever, and you go to sleep. And then the next day you do your shift again. And, you might get a union job and you're going to get a great, salary with benefits and a pension and this and that or whatever. But at the end of the day, you are just average. Not until I started thinking outside the box of my circle, my box, outside the people that had influence on me, I started going, well, what's that circle above me? What does it look like? And this is one of the things you got to do, okay? It's like you might admire somebody with a nice car, with a nice house, with whatever it is, whatever material goods they have. Look at their circle. Does it look like your circle? Ask yourself that question. If their circle looks like your circle of friends, then you should be fine, right? But if it's not, then it's not. Then you're not going to achieve those things. Because when you have folks that have limited beliefs, folks that they say, hey, this is your luck, man. We're middle class, lower middle class. You should be happy with this. You have a problem. You really, really have a problem. You can't conform to that. That's mediocrity. This is a kind of a sensitive topic for me because my wife and I left Chicago because our circle of friends or family was bringing us down. It pains me to say that, but it's the reality. I mean, I have no ill will towards anybody or anything like that. I'm not trying to put him down or anything like that. But I realized that their expectations were not my expectations. I had in one of the Arte live events, there was this lady, and she asked me a very poignant question. She's like, well, I live in a neighborhood, and the example that my son sees is like men go to the factory, come back home, put the chair out on the porch and drink beer. That's the life. Does they feel accomplished with that? She goes, what do? I don't want my son to grow up in that environment. And my answer to her was like, move. You got to get out of that. That is a toxic environment. Because what your son is seeing right now is going to be his norm. It's going to be his normal. Yeah, you've been in a neighborhood for 20 years and you got friends and all that stuff, but who gives a crap? If those are not your goals, then you need to leave the environment. Because the environment will drag you down, will pull you down. When you talk to people, when you're in a moment of doubt, and you're seeking advice, you'll ask one of those losers, not losers in a good kind of way, I suppose. You ask these people, well, hey, I want to do this. They're going to, no, come on. And what are you thinking? We're middle class. Come on, man. Just like get a good job, decent pay, get a decent house, and live your life. Well, you can't do that. For me, I wanted to change the world. I wanted to change. I wanted to break the poverty circle in my family. So I always strived to be better. I shouldn't say always, but up until I realized that what my circle looked like and the goals of the folks in my circle, then I realized that I was not going to be the person I wanted to be with them around me, because they would make fun of me, my ideas, my goals. And so I left. I moved out of state with my family. I still love them. I love them with my whole heart. I mean, they're my family. They're really good friends or whatever. But our goals didn't align. And it is kind of sad, but it's also very uplifting when you realize, hey, I'm on my own. I'm a different person. I want to be on a different level. So there's a lot of negative people, and they will crush your dreams because it's not their dreams. They will crush your dreams because they, down deep inside, know that they can't achieve those dreams. They will be jealous of your dreams, and they will try to bring you down. Maybe unconsciously, but they will go, hey, this is not the norm, man. You're out there. You can't, you can't do this. You're a dreamer. You're this and that, whatever. You have to be extremely intentional about how you spend your time and who you spend your time with. If you really want to be someone, you have to pay attention. You have to assess your circle. You have to assess your friends. You have to assess the people you ask advice from. And realize whether they're going to help you or not. You can't surround yourself with negative people and expect to have a positive life. Right? I'm going to repeat this. You can't surround yourself with negative people and expect to have a positive life. You might have lifelong friends who are really fun to hang out with at one time in your life, but who have failed to grow or challenge themselves. Put it in a cruise control is the easiest thing, because you don't have to put too much effort in anything. If you really want to change your life, if you want to change everybody else's life, if you want a generational change, emphasis on generational, it starts with you. Don't be selfish. Don't put it on cruise control. Change your legacy. It's just so powerful when you think about, hey, whatever I'm doing right now is going to have an impact for generations. So for me, in my case, I became a millionaire because I worked my butt off. My children will not have the same needs or lack of help or whatever, because I chose to change my life, and I changed the life of my children. So, my friends, you have to really look at the circle that you're in. Look at the people you're hanging around with. Look at the people you're asking advice from. Look at the people that are giving you advice, even unwarranted or unwanted advice, and see if it is the right circle. If it's not, you need to move on. You don't have to be rude or anything like that, but you start spending less time with them and get busy and do other things, and eventually they'll look at you like, in the beginning it will be like, dude, what are you doing, man? You're not hanging around or whatever. You can say, well, I'm busy, I'm doing this and all that stuff, and eventually they're going to leave you alone. And then eventually they're going to go, wow, look at that guy. I wonder how he got so successful. I wonder what he did or whatever. But they don't realize that you're working your butt off, that you have goals, that you want to change your future generations. You could be the top dog in your circle, and if your circle is mediocre, you are the number one mediocre guy. I know some folks that they have really good friendships and all sorts of things. They have a lot of fun. They spend a lot of money and all that stuff, and it's money that they really don't have. Go into debt to go places and do things and pretend they're living a successful life. But at the end of the day, you go home and you're like, what the hell? When you get that monthly bill and it's like, geez, we spend more money than we should have on this trip or whatever, that should be a sign. If you are the top dog on your circle, then look at what you're doing. Look at what you're making people do. Either you're bringing them down or you bring them up. There's a couple of people that I'm thinking about right now, and they're sort of blind to their reality they're living in, like I was. I was having fun drinking with my friends and my family. I was having fun shooting pool every other day at the bar. I was having fun, going playing softball and then, drinking after that and hanging out and coming home and all sorts of things late. And then I woke up and I realized I had nothing. I was spending all my money. I had no savings. I had nothing going on for me. And, we were having more children, and I was like, how am I going to manage this? And so I had to make the decision, I can't level up with my current circle of friends. I have to do something else. I have to get out of this. So again, look at where you are, look at your circle of friends, and look at the circle of friends that the people you wanted, you admire, and go, what does their circle look like? If it doesn't look like yours, which I'm pretty sure it won't, then you need to move on. But if you want to be mediocre and stay on the bottom of the barrel, then that's your choice. My advice to you is to really do a hard assessment of who are you hanging around with, and decide, okay, is this what I want to do? And if that's what it is, it makes you happy, then stay there. But if it's not, you need, with a sense of urgency, to change that environment. You have to. Otherwise, you're not going to achieve anything that you want to do. You're not going to make a generational impact. You're just going to be below average. You're going to be the guy that it's the blue collar guy, and you're supporting, you're making people rich. You're not making yourself rich. Again, when I say blue collar, I'm not trying to insult anybody. Where my parents were blue collar, I was blue collar for a long time or whatever. But what I'm saying is, if you really want to make a big change in your life and in the lives of the ones you love, you need to step up. Blue collar is not the answer. Staying average, working in a factory, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, or an office, 9 to 5, whatever. If you want to level up, then change your circle. I think I emphasized enough the fact that you need to analyze your circle and decide whether that's what you want or not. But this is part of the Godfather's success series, and this is huge. And again, I'm going to emphasize the fact that not only did I leave my circle, I left the whole freaking state of Illinois with my wife's family and my family to move to Kansas, where I knew nobody. Nobody. We came here to Kansas on our own, by ourselves, and we built what we had, what we have right now. So it might seem extreme for some people, but that's what I thought I needed to do. And I did it. And it's paid out huge dividends. All right, my friends, if you found value in the podcast, share it with your family and friends, and make sure you give us a rating. You can follow me on Instagram on MAG Patriot, on Facebook, Miguel Godfather, and you can email me your questions at miguel@godfatherchronicles.com. Till next time, God bless you, stay strong, and audit your circle. God bless. Bye.